People of the internet, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another Out of the Park Baseball 17 GM Mode Sim commentary for the Premier League Baseball. I am F5 Penguin. You can find me all over the web at F5 Penguin. And we are recapping August. We're doing month-by-month recaps. And of course, if you want to, please like and subscribe this video. A lot of action in our last video. Oh my goodness, we had a lot of comments from two particular people and also on Twitter. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, the link is in the description below to the website for the Premier League Baseball, where you can go and see everything there is to know about this entire league and the players. But wouldn't you know, if you look over here, Cacao, 41-25. Winning record. We're still good. Now, we did go on a little bit of slide, and we'll look at that in a little bit. But to recap August, two things happened that I found interesting. Kira's and Thierry did a commercial to attract more fans to the ballpark this spring, and right now we're in roster expansion as of September 1st. So, get those out of the way. A couple of bad things happened throughout the month of August. You'll obviously see Josh Long injured. But Anatole Thierry also got injured. He was out for 2 weeks and a day. I was so sad. So we had to make a lot of decisions to catch up and get competitive again. That was the challenge, is get competitive. So what did we do for August? Well, a couple of things. We signed relief pitcher Nicolas Noguez to a minor league contract. Same with Manny Villa. These guys are rated to do just above average or a little bit higher than that. You can see that from their numbers right here, especially this Villa guy. I'm kind of excited about Villa. I don't know if it's Villa or Villa. Then we signed Joe Blanchett and Austin Garber. All these guys didn't want minor league deals. I convinced the two prior ones to take them. And then these guys, basically, I just signed them for $25,000 for 7 years, and they took it. And they're rated to do pretty high. So even if we hit with just one of these four, we would have made our money back without question. So you can see that I did to both these players, number 3 and number 4 starter. I'm going to take my chance for $25K. Anybody would do that. So that's where we're at with that. Also, Aaron Gutman, I just signed him into a left field position as backup, especially since we are in roster expansion. Now, how did we do? How did we do overall? Well, if you look at the numbers right now, we're 6th in runs scored, 11th in batting average, 9th in on-base percentage, middle of the pack in both home runs and stolen bases, 5th runs against, 7th in both starting and bullpen ERA, and 8th in defensive efficiency. Alcala is 2nd in wins, which is incredible. McCarty is 3rd in batting average. We found a hot bat. Never would I have expected McCarty to be this good. He was not projected to do this well, nor was he hitting that well at the beginning of his career. But if we track this all the way back to when he started, we go back to 1950. And man, he has excelled. He's gotten better and better, and we had him in AAA for 5 years before calling him up at 56. I'm happy. I'm really happy with him. I didn't expect this at all, and we got a player that is solid. We got him for another 2 seasons before we got to worry about paying him. We're going to be okay. We're going to be in good shape. Man, McCarty, who would have thought? Who would have thought? For a while there, we were also 1st in power rankings throughout most of the month of August before the injury, which was kind of exciting as well. So how did we fare? Let's look at the front office. We are making some money, 30% up in both attendance and revenue, which is good. Selling out most of our games, getting close to it. We are projected to do just over $200,000 in profit this season. Hooray! And more to come, hopefully, if we keep on this positive trend. So let's look at the schedule. Let's go back to August. You're going to see that we did not win August. We didn't win August. We came out 1 game below 500. Kind of upsetting. But where we did excel is we stopped the bleeding. Between Estrada and having to pick up Sergio Leon and then Thierry getting injured, it was tough. It was really tough. Oh, and for the first time, I should mention that the All-Star Team 2 won in the All-Star game for the first time since the inception of PLB. So that was kind of fascinating. That's not our team, by the way. We're the All-Star 1. All-Star 2 is the other, I guess, the other half of the league, the other conference, so to speak. So we won a couple of games and then we lost and then we won and then we lost. It was kind of back and forth, and a couple of key losses I looked at. This one against the Laredo, where we were 8-2, gave Rubenstein his first loss of the season. It just, bad games. They're going to happen. I was messing around with the pitching lineup to try to find the right balance. Messing around with the hitting lineup as we started to lose games. I really took over the reins. We went on the 6-game slide, and then we were able to stop it against Normal and QC. And we won 2 for 3 against QC, which is huge, even though we lost 2 for 3 against Normal. And then against Fargo, we won 1 and then lost 2, and then 1 versus LA and lost 2, and then 1 versus Montreal. So overall, we went 11-12. Or I'm sorry, we went 12-14. 2 games under 500. I apologize. We were 11-12 going into the last sim, which picked up 2 more games. No big deal. So we didn't win that, but we're 8-3 in June, 28 in July. I think we're doing okay overall. A key number to look at here: extra inning games for 3-2. So we're just above 500 down there, which is good. 12-7. We did slide a little bit on 1-run games, and you can see that by looking back at the schedule. 6-7 loss there, 1-0 win. Thankfully, right there, lost 5-4, lost 5-4 here, and I think there was one more. Nope, that was a 2-0 loss. 4-3 there as well. So we did lose some 1-run games that we should be winning. No reason for the hitting to not be there when we need it to be. Curious has kind of leveled off a bit, and we'll look at the numbers right now for those players. So if we go to splits and we pull up August, here's the numbers for August. ERA is important, yeah, but I pulled it up to look at initially, and then we kind of go in from there. Moreno, use less often. We already have him doing that. Avoid high leverage for Kurix and Bates. Use more often for Garza. High leverage for Garza and Anatole Thierry. This is our starting rotation right now. Like I said, I was swapping it a couple of times to get the right pitcher in the right place. Even though I have it on occasion highest rested, sometimes I wanted to put the right guy in front for the next game. I did that against QC, and we handed Nick Clark his first loss of the season, which makes me feel really good since he was our player that we had to let go. It made me a sad panda. So vengeful, we got to go in with a little bit of spite. But Alcala, Leon, Rubenstein, Thierry, Walker, that seems to have worked out for us. The numbers kind of prove it there with the wins losses, even though we don't use that as a full idea of how we're doing. Sergio is kind of leveled off too, 2.68 ERA overall, 5.02 here in Brooklyn, which is a little bit high. We had him starting as number 1 pitcher. Now he's number 2. I think he's better in this role. He's 3-3. We'll see how it goes. It'll work out, I'm sure. He's not pitched enough innings with us yet, so it's hard to really say how well he's going to perform overall. But we have a guy that's going to do really well for us. I'm sure of that. Some key notes here that I thought were interesting is the fact that the best pitcher we have starting with batting average against is Rubenstein. Thierry at 223. I found that to be really interesting because Thierry's our number 4 guy, and he's a stud. He's done really well for us. He just can't, be that number 1 big arm hurler. That's not our guy there. Interesting things here as well is Merlin Bates has given up 2.7 home runs per 9, hence the avoid high leverage. We picked him up to kind of be a stopgap, and that isn't really working out for us, so I bumped him down just a tick. Walks per 9, Bill Hopp, again, he's just in normal usage as a stopgap, but his ERA is in good shape. He hasn't given up anything crazy, so I'll take that, right? Ks per 9, Lawson Murphy putting up 10, Anatole putting up 10, Bill Hopp putting up 9. So, the numbers are kind of weird for the month of August. I think that has a lot to do with the injuries we had and the lack of hitting in some places. We went to extra innings for a couple of games. So I'm using August kind of just as a wash. We didn't get any better. We only got a little bit worse overall for record, but other teams did too. We're 6 games ahead in our division, so we should be okay going into September. Looking at batting real quick, and then we'll jump into what we're going to do for September here, obviously taking your thoughts into consideration as well. Our number 1 hitter, 351. We got McCarty. Brady's up here. We'll talk about him in a bit. He hasn't played much. Parrish, 304. McKinley, 278. Roberts, 255. He's back and healthy, thankfully. Philpott, 250. He's kind of fallen off the wayside for us a bit. Makes me sad because I was hoping to get some more production out of him, but I might have to consider these seasons coming up here. It's kind of questionable. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be 40 years old and good for us anymore. He might fall off a bit. We'll have to see. It's kind of worrisome. Something to look at later for sure. And then rounding out, we got Pablo's Kirshner's. Our Necky's not doing as well as we need him to, and Capra for the month of August. Ugh, he was horrible. I don't know what happened. As a leadoff guy, as a second guy, it was not working out for me in the slightest. So I got to figure out what to do there for sure. On base percentage, we got McCarty leading that for sure. That's helping us a lot. And Capra's gotten caught stealing 3 times in August, but 7 stolen bases. Zarnecki is 1 in 5. So something to look at. Home runs, 4 across the board. McCarty, Parrish, Porter, and Roberts. Zarnecki, Philpott, 3. Kirshner, 2. Capra, McKinley, 1. So that's nice to see. RBIs are important. Roberts surprised me. I'm not going to lie to you. 17 for Roberts, 13 for Mark Porter. Mark Porter was the starting right fielder up until late August, like 5 days before the end of August. We swapped him out, and we'll talk about that here in just a second too. So where does that bring us? Well, our schedule up ahead looks like this. We got about 18 games straight to play with 1 game break in between. And we're under the roster expansion, so I called up some players. These last 3 games are going to be huge, and the 3 against the Queens are huge. The rest, I feel like we could come out on top without any problems. But those 6 games are the 6 games we're ahead, and 3 of them are against a division rival. So we have to really, really be on our A game. So here's what I did. I left everything the same. I called up Travis Fristow, and I left up Bill Hopp, even though we got Thierry back from injury, just to give us some more options in the bullpen, normal usage. We go with Garza, we go with Thierry, we should be okay. Murphy's proving well for us. Fristow, even though he, quote, the scout says he wasn't ready for the majors, .48 ERA on 37 innings pitched this season. We look at his pitching stats, FIP minus 51, doing better than 50% of the league. You can't go wrong with that. Figure I give him a shot. We'll see what he does for us, right? Lineup-wise, though, we have changed the game. We have opened up the booth for us here. So what I did is I looked at to see who I wanted to give some experience, which anybody riding the bench in the Major League gets experience and progresses on your team. So I wanted to do that and fill the roster. Secondly, I wanted to see who was hitting really well. So the number 1 hitter on the team in the AAA was Punchkar. So he's back. We remember Punchkar, as I like to call him, Punchkar. He was our star when we lost a key center fielder back in 53. Or in 54, excuse me. So we called him up, and he won a Golden Glove that year. It was crazy. In 54, he won a Golden Glove, and he hit pretty well after that and then kind of fell off. You look at the numbers here, 284, 273, 165. And then he was back up for 286 and then back down to AAA. So we're going to put him back up and hope he does pretty well for us. He was hitting 270 going into calling him up to the roster, and we'll see what he can do for us. He's a bench player, and he's also going to be our starting center fielder now. He won't be a bench player anymore. So we moved him up. Capper, we moved out to left, and that's going to help us out a lot of ways because his rating out in left is stellar. So if we can bump our defensive efficiency and lock down a couple of those runs, we'll be okay. And then in right field, I put Roberts. He can't play right field, quote, but most of the time from what I read, anybody that can play left field can also play right field on the corners at this age. So I'm putting him out there, hoping for the best, hoping not for a lot of errors. I'll see what that happens there. Porter will back all of them up. Then we look at who else is doing well for us? Well, I called up Rabe to get some more experience for him. He was doing quite well for us down there in the AAA. We called up Farrell because he was hitting really well, 299 down there. And obviously I'm going to call up Brady because he is ready to go, and we needed him. We needed some depth at a couple of these positions. Now, it helps us out for 2 reasons. One, we have some extra players for injuries. I don't have to worry so much about calling up people mid-sim, especially for the playoffs. 2, look at our pinching, So we have a pinch runner. Brady is super fast. Look at speed, 888 across the board. Hooray. We need that, right? Farrell is pretty fast as well, 6'7", 4. And then we got Ciula when we go up against right-handed pitchers. Against left-handed pitchers, we put Ciula to start at second base. We got the number 1 hitter in the league playing pinch hitter. That's working as well, right? So that's good. Brady, Kirshner, Farrell. So we have some depth in some positions. I'm pretty happy about this. I really am. And I feel like we're going to make the playoffs for the first time since I've really taken over the team outside of 51, which will be nice, right? I agree. Looking at our AAA roster, we're 5th. We may not make the playoffs. So running those guys thin is not going to be the end of the world. They have a full roster anyway if we go down there. They have 10 pitchers and they have 10 hitters. So they're going to be fine. They're going to be okay. It's not going to be – no one's going to die, okay? And we'll call up people if we need to, and we'll basically just go for broke here in the majors because we need to. We're in a position to win. We can really do something. I don't care what anybody's saying on the Discord chat that I'm in. I don't care what anybody's saying online. We're in a position to actually make the playoffs and go far. And by George, I'm going to do it. We can do it. It can happen. So we're pushing, folks. We are pushing. I'm going to leave it right here, okay? Info screen. You can see everything going on. Give me your suggestions. Let me know on Twitter at F5Penguin. Let me know on YouTube. Like and subscribe to videos. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Check out the website in the link in the description below for Premier League Baseball's website. You can see everything there is to know about the game. We signed a lot of players based on your input. So the more input I get, we're going to put it together and make something happen. I think this is the best possible lineup for September. And I really think we're going to go far. I did not call up Keith Jordan. I just didn't feel confident on it. The numbers weren't there for me. I looked at the stats. I just did not see it. So I hope I made the right decision. We're going to take a chance here. We got Punchakar in there, and we're gonna really try to get something to happen. I feel confident with him in center field. I do. He's proven that he can play center field efficiently. I just got to get the hitting going. If we can get that going, we'll be okay. We really will. If we go to batting stats, he was hitting 114. That should level off a little bit to about 80 to 90, and I'll take 80 to 90. You can see where he sits in the lineup. He's not, he's 8th. Jordan was going to be 8th anyway. I tried that. So we'll keep Perdomo and Jordan down there. We'll bring up the 28-year-old. He's gone at the end of the season anyway. If he does really well for us, I'll consider re-signing him. That's what it comes down to. So he's going to earn his spot. Farrell's going to earn his spot before we end up cutting some players and making some room. Bates is going to see if we're going to even keep him for next season. That's also a thing. So we only have him for one season because I only needed a stopgap. So we got to see if these players want to keep playing for Brooklyn. If they do, they could bring home a ring and we'll be fine. I feel good about this. Let me know what you think, okay? Please do. September's right around the corner, and then we'll do playoffs. Every night, 11 p.m. That's when we're trying to do videos. So keep tuned to that and all the other videos on my channel. This, of course, is Out of the Park Baseball 17. This is the GM Mode Sim commentary for the Premier League Baseball. I am F5 Penguin. You can find me all over the web at F5 Penguin. And, of course, I will see you in September in the game because it's already September in real life. Okay. I'll stop talking now. Wichita.